So I want to do a quick recap of what we discussed on Monday. Okay. On Monday we had a pretty nice trading session, if you ask me. We caught some longs, right? We caught some shorts, and just want to kind of continue from where we ended on the trading session. Is we did get a nice long off of the lows right there, right? And what we mentioned is price was looking bullish based on the whole trend line and everything else, right? And we were trying to go into the long off of these lows right here, which it gave us a nice reaction, right? However, as soon as the trading session finished, we finished around 9, right? So we finished high up here, but shortly after, right? We did go 50, 60 pips in profit, but shortly after, around like 9:30, around 10, price started dumping, right? And again, I urge the importance of having your analysis right and to do your contingency planning as well. So what we discussed is if we break this area here in between the previous daily open, right, and the weekly open, we are going to so first of all, what we discussed is this area in between was a no trade zone for us. As long as we're above both, we were bullish, but as soon as we break lower, we are bearish, right? Which is pretty much what happened, right? So we've had this strong reaction to the downside and price broke lower. Hence why I want to highlight the importance of following your analysis and sticking with a specific bias that you're going into, right? In this particular case, strong break to the downside and then continuation lower into the 12 o'clock at night Eastern time. Now I'll remove some of that. We've of course recovered since then, but also important what we discussed is if we break this weekly open, we will cover this liquidity area first. And that is what happened, right? We pretty much grabbed the liquidity from there, got a bit of a reaction back, and then we went on to retest this whole level, right? So I like that we were trading within the levels that we highlighted. Yes, we didn't catch the whole short move, etc. But as I like to say, it's very important that the analysis that you perform is right. And whichever direction it goes, it's not a surprise to you guys. Okay. So together with y'all, I will actually update my levels, right? So we have some rules, we have some entries, nothing as of right now. I want this to be more educational, and if something pops up, we'll definitely place a trade, but I just want to highlight the new daily open level, right? We'll put that on. Purple line right here, that is where we're opening up right now. And we still have the same weekly open. We're within the same week. Week is still bullish. We had a pretty bullish day yesterday with a bullish daily candle closure. But I do want to update with a 4-hour candle as well. The nearest 4-hour bullish candle is right here, right? So if we get downside momentum, it could get all the way to 43.17. That is possible. Doesn't mean it's likely to happen right away, but remove some zones, right, that are unnecessary as of right now. Just extend some of the zones that we have from previous session as well. So keep that there, right? Now with that in mind, I want to highlight that we tapped the same level 3 times, right? 1, 2, and 3. This is our third tap into the highs, and these highs are also within this whole order block, right? So that is something that me and Ali have been highlighting on the previous session as well. So you got to keep that in mind that it is an important area to look into as to where price could reverse from, right? And considering this is the third time we're tapping in, we should be careful and we should keep that in mind as to the fact that price will need some strong momentum to break to the upside. Just remember that, okay? But if we're looking into immediate opportunities, again, price is pretty choppy. We got to keep that in mind, okay? Remember that price isn't moving in a nice trendy way right now, but more so chopping with a lot of wicks. So we got to be careful not to get chopped out in this whole movement. But if we're looking into something more immediate, bear with me a second. We'll need to zoom in to 15-minute time frames, right? And check if there are any opportunities specifically. Now, let me remove this, right? We don't have any entry just yet. If there is gonna be one, I'll let you guys know, right? But for now, nothing. Okay, so no entries just yet. That's there, but we will have a look into whether there is anything that would align with our rules that would allow us to enter a specific trade, right? Now, what we have right now so far is upside market structure, right? Within the last day or two, right? So after our trading session, we've had a series of higher highs and higher lows, right? Simply saying higher highs and higher lows, and now we're just creating a higher low right now. So on a 15-minute time frame, market structure, market trend is pretty bullish for now, as long as we're staying above this gray area here, right? And mind you that the zone is something that we've highlighted before. Let me let a couple more people in. Let me actually ask you guys. So we have roughly 20 people, right? I want to see from y'all based on what is happening right now in the market. Again, there is nothing to be right or wrong here, but if you were to take a guess, right, and considering we have this evening trading session right now, let me just highlight this area here. What do you think can happen between now and say 10 o'clock? So in the matter of next 2 hours, right? Do you think we're bullish or bearish? I just want to see where people are at. I'm aware you guys are coming in here to learn, right? But it's an interesting to see what is everyone's bias. Just type it in. So Andy's saying consolidation within support and resistance zones. Okay. So I'll give you guys one more option, right? Bullish, bearish, or neutral, right? Bull, bear, or chop. What are we expecting, right? So Andy's expecting consolidation within the support and resistance. ODS is bullish. Dylan saying chop. Okay. Let me have a look. Let me have a look. I appreciate the comments, guys. Thank you very much. This is also for you all, right? You have your own bias right now, but that bias might change as we go through the trading session. What's important is you track your own opinion and your own vision of the market, right? And you will see, hey, does my bias change with what Coach Dennis is mentioning, or is my bias staying the same, right? Or maybe our biases align. So it's important to come to these trading sessions and have a bias of your own. Sorry, bear with me a second. I think my computer is super choppy. A lot of things are open at the same time. Just bear with me one moment. Let me close a couple extra apps. Bear with me, guys. Trying to free up some operating memory here. Just confirm with me if you guys can still hear me, see me well. Is it choppy or is it all right? Just so I know. Appreciate that. Okay, it's good. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, so let's have a look. One bullish, one person expecting a chop, two, three, four bullish, three chops, five, six, seven bullish. Okay, you guys can hear me. I appreciate it. So, interesting enough, right? Seven people are bullish. Four people are expecting a chop. Surprised nobody is bearish, but that's okay, right? There is, as I said, nothing right or wrong right now per se, but it's just important to keep track of your own opinion here, right? So I like the detailed response from Ali here. Market has been making higher highs and higher lows, which is true, right? And there is a lot of liquidity built on the top, right? Over here, by all means, that's true. Um, so retail traders are selling from order block and liquidity is getting engineered there. Very true, right? Very, very true. The only question is, again, by all means, this will be taken out, right? Sooner or later, these highs, they will get taken out. Whether it's manipulation or continuation to the upside, rest assured it will be taken out, right? But the question is when, right? And many people are bullish. Many people are saying chop. So just remember this bias of yours up until the end of the trading session and coming into the night. Okay. But I appreciate everybody's input. Now let's have a look, right? Based on what I mentioned and Ali followed up with as well, we are making higher highs and higher lows. I'll pull up 5 minute time frame. On 5 minute time frame, this is my low, right? That was around 11:30 in the morning, and these are my highs. Okay, so that is the low and the high of the trading session. And based on that, I'll probably, as always, pull up my fib just to see where are we at extension wise. That will help us understand. Let me just change my template real quick. Back to my standard one. Main, there you go. Okay, so we've broken through 38.50. We're chopping around 61 right now. Okay, so that's good. What is important is that we've pretty much grabbed the liquidity from here, and from around here as well. So there is a possibility that we will reverse and continue to the upside. However, it's important to note that there was a lot of selling pressure around New York session as well, right? So when New York cannot break these highs, it's going to take some extra steam for the price to break these highs during Tokyo session, right? So you better be positioned properly into this trading range just so you can actually have the best potential entry if you're looking to buy. Okay. So again, based on that, what we can look into is to see if number one, fibs are aligning, right? And number two, RSI is touching there, and number three, general market trend. The only time frame where market trend has shifted already is the small time frame, right? Roughly the 3, 5, 1 minute time frame. These time frames, the trend has shifted for the simple reason of the fact that we had this retail trend line, right? And we had these lows and these lows, which have been broken, right? So keep that in mind. We've had a bit of a change of character in the way price is being delivered, right? But that doesn't matter to us as of right now, but because price can never just always follow the trend line or always go and do higher highs and higher lows. It does need to retrace a little bit lower before it can continue going higher. Grabbing this liquidity here, that is something that will give us steam for the move to the upside, right? Now, again, ask yourself the next thing. Based on when we opened up, right? And we discussed that a couple times already. I just want to highlight the importance of it also for everybody who's new or who hasn't paid attention during the previous sessions. I use sessions, right, just to understand for myself. I'll hide all the drawings, just clean sessions, right? So sessions will actually help you guys understand how big of a price range can you expect based on the recent day's activity, right? In current session. It's important to have expectations and manage them. So starting with last Thursday, right? So a week ago, $44 range, $43 range, right? $48 range, $46 range, and $34 range. So once again, this highlights for us that during Tokyo session, there is a specific range that is being followed and it's never less or more, roughly always the same. Before, in the previous weeks, the ranges were a little bit lower, but that was mainly to the fact that price was consolidating, right? Now that price was expanding, we have a bit of a higher range, right? So again, that is something that will help you guys understand as to how far can the price reach in the current session. If we look into the fact that the range is roughly between $30 to $40, there's only a couple options from here, right? Option one, this was the high of the session when we opened up at 7, and we're going to go all the way back down, right? Which is unlikely, in my opinion. That is just something that you can look into, right? And imagine for yourself whether you see price going down all the way to a specific area on the chart, right? So from the top of the range down here, right, 40 bucks ish, back to the weekly open. Do we think it's possible or likely that we will get a sell-off for the duration of the whole Tokyo session? Probably not, right? Hence why you can create a plan and create a certain expectation based on where the price is right now and how far can it get. Right now, if we're going bullish, right, and if we're trying to catch the low right here, and if we're expecting the price to reverse here and start pushing up higher, right? How high can it go, right? Can it actually break these areas here during Tokyo? Well, from here, it can. It can probably reach all the way to the top of the red box, right? So that will be something that will help you guys understand how far you can target outside of the fibs or anything else, at least based on the price range for each individual trading session. Now, based on what I see right now, personally, I'll remove these sessions. Price has moved down significantly. It's a good buying opportunity. Once again, based on time frames, based on, again, as we like to discuss, right? I like to put it clear for you guys. There are three things that you can do in trading. Option one, buy. Option two, sell. Option three, do nothing, right? Question number one, would you be selling as low as the price is right now? No. Would you like to stay on the sidelines? Yes, it's absolutely possible we can stay out. But what is the best risk to reward based on current price? We can buy, right? Buying from this area here is definitely the best thing you can do in terms of risk to reward, right? Selling from here, not going to give you guys a nice reward ratio. Buying will. Now the question is, should we stay on the sidelines or do we have enough reasoning and confluences to buy, right? That's the only question every time you're making a decision for a trade. And again, first question is always, what do I want to do? Do I want to buy? Do I want to sell? Is there a setup, right? If there is one, there is a setup for buy, same as most of you guys mentioned, either a buy or a chop, right? Definitely not a sell because price has moved down quite a lot already, right? Now, the second question, market trend. Does that align with my bias? Yes, it does. Everybody mentioned we're making higher highs and higher lows. RSI on 5 minute, pretty low. Good. Takes off the opportunity. 3 minute, RSI still low. Good. Matches. 1 minute, getting there once again, right? Again, we had a series of RSI movements on 1 minute, and on 1 minute is pretty choppy. So you got to be careful and get your confirmation from roughly the 3 minute time frame. Now, Fibonacci's 61 has been broken. The only level of defense that we have left is around here, between 71 and 78, right? So the only rational decision that we can take from here is to go into buys with an expectation for it to come at least back to daily open with stop loss that will be measured based on how much risk you're comfortable with, right? We can approximately get into a trade. Again, this is just decision-making process 101. Bear with me a second. How does that work? This whole MetaTrader thing drives me crazy sometimes. Hopefully that makes sense, right? We're trying to tick off some boxes and understand what is it the price going to do. What is all that? Where are my candles at, man? Okay. Day, 15 minute. There you go. There they are. Okay, so price started going bullish a little bit already, but that's fine. We'll just get a small half a lot buy. And if we go a little bit lower, we will add to that trade once again, right? Similar to what we discussed, we break it down into multiples. Now the question is, where is the stop loss placement? Should I be real with you guys? Stop loss placement based on fib rules is all the way down here, okay? All the way down at this wick, right? If we break this wick, that's where analysis gets invalidated. That is the stop loss placement. Now the question is, do you want to take 70 pip of potential loss? Not everybody would like to do so, right? Hence why you can actually reduce your stop loss, right? Roughly to half of that size and re-enter if that's going to be the case, right? If there is going to be an opportunity for you to do so, right? But again, for that, you need to have confluences and so forth. Also, I wouldn't necessarily be targeting all the way up there for the purposes of this trading session, right? If we're looking to a trading session, we started at 8 with the sell-off, right? And we're gonna have time until 9. So of course, I'm not gonna be targeting all the way, high up there, right? What I would be targeting is at least a retracement the other way around, right? So we don't know just yet whether price has actually enough steam to pop from here and break the highs. But what we want to do is take advantage of small moves, right, as we go up, right? So for example, move it a little bit lower. I'll add more to it. Why? Because we're still within that 78% fit, right? So that is still well within the range. And if for whatever reason price continues breaking down with a strong move, what is possible, and it's entirely possible, is something what happened the previous time, right? I'll show you guys just so we remember. Right here, right? So we were buying around that same time. It chopped us out and it went higher, right? Hence why your stop loss has to be generous enough for you not to get stopped out. Even though last time we traded on Monday, we had a reasonable stop loss of 40 pips, right? But this one chopped out all the way down to like 70 pips to the downside. Either the entry was not optimal or the price was volatile. As we discussed, for the most part, we did everything right. However, price just decided to manipulate through these levels, right? Highlighting this area here. Manipulated through it with a wick and then went up higher. Hence why gotta be careful, gotta understand that price can manipulate the lows, right? And can get all the way down here to this wick. Hey, if it does, that's fine. But again, my analysis is based on a little bit of an old school approach. The new smart money concept will actually tell you that, hey, look, you should actually wait for the liquidity to be grabbed here and try to enter into a long. But for some reason, my old school methodology is telling me that I don't want to wait all the way until this week, right? Even though smart money concepts, the new ones based on the liquidity and institutional candles, will actually tell you that this might be the best entry. And we can actually check that with Zonar as well. Zonar was giving a sell signal. Giving us a sell signal over here roughly as well, which is interesting to look into. Again, continuation of the downside, right? But 5 minute is a sell and 15 minute is a sell high up there. Now let's see if there is anything buy wise. Yeah, not a lot of buy signals from Zoner. So all the Zoner signals are giving us a sell right now. But the only problem that there is for me in terms of a sell, the only time I'd be looking to re-enter a sell is on a retest, right? So we have this move to the downside. We gotta wait for this to finish and then wait for it to go back up before it continues going down. That is going to be something that will match my entry criterias, and that is going to be something that will allow me to enter into a sell, right? We broken the trend line, we broken the trend, and we are moving lower. Now this is a guarantee. Even here, right? This point here was not a confirmation for a sell. Rather, the trend was still bullish to the upside. And now since we've broken it, right? What I could be looking out for is from these highs to these lows, retracement back up into the area of around daily open or close to it, somewhere around here, right? And then take a sell from there. That would be lovely, right? I'll take that every day because you would pretty much get a continuation. Some things need to match, right? We would need to have RSI come back up, price come back up, tab the fib. We know that the trend has been broken on a smaller time frame, and then we'll take a stab at the sell back to this area here, right? Before it can continue going higher. So that is something I would take a sell with, but I'm just not comfortable taking a sell all the way here, right? It's either do nothing for me or take a buy, right? And we're taking a buy for educational purposes for you guys. Obviously not telling everybody should rush into the trade, but if there is a trading decision to be made, the trading decision with an optimal entry and good risk to reward is going to be a buy, right? Down here. 70, where do we have it? So we bought one at 28, we bought one at 26, roughly, right? That is why you also break down your entry into multiples. So this way you get an optimal risk to reward for that particular trade. Once again, keep in mind, I will cut this trade if for whatever reason we'll lose this low right here, right? That wick to the downside, that'll be my pretty much cutting point into that particular trade. So hopefully we'll get some nice price action for the rest of the evening, for the next half an hour or so with love. for the buys to play out. Sometimes price is not reversing in a V shape very fast. It might want to take some time to consolidate, but we'll see how it goes. But let me know, guys, in the comments, right? Does that kind of align with your vision? Because many people mentioned chop, many people mentioned buy, right? And we're not chopping just yet. We're selling off. So for people who are bullish, right? Let me ask you guys this. If you are bullish, where would you be bullish from, right? Which area would you be buying from? Do you think the area that I'm buying from is a valid one? Or would you be looking to buy at 43.20? Or would you be looking to buy all the way down at 43.16ish or even lower? I'm actually curious. Again, we're all human, we're all traders. What's important is the more opinions there are, the more points of view there are, the better it actually is in terms of analyzing the chart and creating a group bias. Hence why we have these sessions. There you go. Love it. Appreciate your comments, guys. Get some water. I was watching this stream today, actually. That's like a small side story for you guys, right? But I was watching a stream. Person was trading futures, right? Pretty famous YouTuber, and guy's trading with $100,000 in his account. Right now, mine is a little smaller. It's 25, but he's trading with 100K, right? And what he mentioned as he was trading Nasdaq, right? And it was selling off this whole day. That was a terrible trading day during New York because I was trying to catch a buy here and I was trying to catch a buy here, and it just kept selling off. But funny part is, right? If you're catching a buy here, this is a good reversal point. So is this, right? Now, there is nothing that will always guarantee you that you will catch these big moves to the downside. Now, the best thing you could do is be wrong from the right spot. Even if you're buying with a nice risk to reward that can guarantee you an amazing return for your risk. But actually, what I wanted to share is that guy, as he was trading, right, his way down, he started the account with like roughly like 95,000 for the day, and he took three trades, right? Three trades. He lost 20K for each trade, right? So he bought one time here, didn't work. Second time here, didn't work, and third time there didn't work, right? So um, by the time price got all the way down there, he was down from 95,000 that he started the morning with down to 45K, right? So lost quite a lot of money, but I just want to share something, right? That guy has millions of dollars available for trading, right? And he doesn't really care about losing 50K. Many people would say, hey, look, your risk management is shit. You had 100K in your account and you lost half of it, right? Which I would probably agree with, but it also depends on how much money you have in savings, how much money you have available in investments, right? Sometimes I would trade with $500 in the account, but all $500 is what I'm risking, right? I'm putting 500 into the account so that I could make 5,000 off of it. So I'm ready to blow all 500. But again, the point is you're not always going to be perfectly right. What's important is whenever you trade, you don't buy here, 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 here. Here. That's the best way to lose your account, right? So most important is when you're placing your trades, the trades are thoughtful, the play trades are considerate, and that those trades are following your rules, right? So in our case, for example, I'll take a couple stabs here, right? But if I'm wrong and if the price ends up going lower, I'm not gonna catch the buys or anything like that. I'm neither gonna try and short the market either, right? Because what is there for me to sell? I'll be honest with you guys, you still need to have confirmations or system that you're following in order for you to take a sell, right? I wouldn't be taking a sell anywhere at this point, aside from very, very tiny time frame. On 1 minute, we could say before the trading session started, right, that we broke these lows here. And once we had that break and the retest, that would have been your sell opportunity there. Just one, right? But again, that's everything combined. And again, that's very, very simple, right? Break of the support here that we've established since 6 o'clock, and then similar type of approach, right? You pull up your fib from the bottom, from the top to the bottom, roughly 50%, right? And then RSI is high. The only thing is market structure is to the upside. So you just got to admit that you're placing a trade against the market structure. But this would have been a very good trade, right? With 2-to-1 risk to reward. That is the only reason where you could have caught a sell, right? But for that sell to be caught, you should have been on the market on 1 minute time frame also. So got to keep that in mind. But again, from where we were after we've discussed yesterday's price scenario, etc., once the price has moved this much, the next best thing you can do is actually go into a buy, if that makes sense. So hopefully teaches you guys something, right? You cannot necessarily trade in both directions at the same time. In order to place a trade in a certain direction, there has to be confirmations, right? And you have to be confident that there are reasons for you guys to be entering a specific trade, and some criterias need to match in order for you guys to be confident in your decisions, right? So keep that in mind. Let me go through some comments in the meantime. People saying, yeah, Ali's aligned. Ali, appreciate the feedback. Market, the buy makes sense. Eric is saying 43.20-ish is the buy, which I agree. It is a nice buy area, by all means. I'd love to buy there again, if anything. And then ODS, my friend, good to hear from you. We'll buy at 43.17. Look, 43.17 is a good buy, right? But for me, when price reaches that low, right, my vision is a little bit different, right? So when price reaches 43.17, I'm asking myself this. We made the move up from here all the way up and then returned back. What's more likely for the price to just retest this area and go higher, or the fact that we returned all the way to 43.17? That means price did not have enough steam and it will just be a retest before we continue lower, right? So for me, for example, if we go to this 4-hour candle all the way down here, for me, there is a higher likelihood that this is part of a bigger structure and bigger retracement, right? So we can remove some, right? But we could probably, in that case, this whole move to the upside and tell ourselves, hey, is 43.17 the last resort? No, right? If we go to 43.17, what's something that would stop the price from getting to 43.09 and 4300, right? So in my vision, if we get all the way here, there is a high chance that we will actually chop lower, right? That is my vision. So again, this is based for me on smaller term fibs, right? Shorter term Fibonacci's. They will help you understand and Fibonacci's, right? That is something you learn in the old school as well. Remove all these lines. So something that old school methodology teaches you, right, is that here, remove all these trend lines. We have a move to the upside, right? And again, this is a bit contradictory with the smart money concepts. Smart money concepts would teach you that this is a liquidity area, order block, etc. But I mean, there are different philosophies to it, right? What is the old school of thought is bear with me a second, guys.
Tanga na nga, bubo pa.
Okay, so the old school of thought is that if the price moves up from this area, right? Price should move in trends, right? And sequences, right? For example, even this simple upside bullish momentum has been sustained for the simple reason is when we moved up, we move down to a certain extent only. When we move up, we move down to a certain extent. We move up, we should move down to a certain extent only. Every time we moved up, there was this protected area, right? Protected low that has not been broken, right? So we moved up, price only got here. It never reached all the way back. We moved up from here, price only came back here and never went back down there, right? So there's always going to be this protected low that if the price comes back down, this is no longer a valid buy, right? That's again an old school of thought that's saying if there is a low, there should be a higher low. We wouldn't believe in equal lows and then move up. That's pretty much called double bottom. That doesn't happen in trending markets every time, right? There should always be a higher low. Hence why I'm saying if this whole bullish momentum that we had since Tuesday, Monday we broke it, right? We've had the liquidity grab right there and we tested these lows, right? And then we started moving higher, protected low, protected low. Hence why I'm saying price should settle somewhere in between this area here, right? And then move up higher. If we end up testing this area here, which is not 17 per se, but which is like roughly like 15 to 13, then it's invalid for me, right? In my personal opinion. Then in my vision, we will probably chop around and then move lower, right? Again, I might be wrong. Not saying that my old school methods are perfect or right by any means. All I'm saying is that this is how I see the market, and you might want to take something useful off of that into your own vision, into your own analysis, right? So right now, again, simply said, this green area here is the last protection that we have to confirm that bias is bullish. As soon as we reach back here, I am not confident that we break the highs, right? So if we go down here, I don't think we'll come back up here. Best thing that I can think for myself is that if we come back, we'll retest and then continue lower because this whole move to the upside, this whole market trend has been broken. That's how I see it. Let me know if you guys agree with me or not. I'm actually curious. Does that make sense? Right? Hopefully this non-stop ramp is helping some people. But again, I hope there is some logics to it, right? And some vision that you guys can learn from. You have to understand certain zones and where price gets invalidated. I appreciate the feedback, guys. Ali, ODS, Johnny, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. Once again, wish market was a little more volatile, but hey, something that I'll show you guys as well. So right now, market is moving pretty well, actually. What you guys can see, remove this area here. What you guys can see on 1 minute time frame is that we've actually established a low, created a high, and now we're creating a higher low and a higher high. That is good to see, right? That gives you some hope and some confidence into the fact that price could reverse and move to the upside, right? That will actually give you guys some confidence and confirmation because before we had a high, a low, a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Now we're starting to shift in that structure. So it's good to see, right? And that is something you guys should be able to notice. That can be done by just simple trend line in a way, right? Or by highlighting these lows and these highs and higher lows and higher highs, right? So for now, it looks okay. The only question is how high can we reach, right? And that can be answered. Let's check if Zoner is giving us some. yeah, still giving us entry to the downside. But again, my analysis doesn't always align with Zonar. It's good to see it does to the T, you know, but not always it will. So again, I will pull the fib from the recent high to the recent low on like 3 minute, 5 minute time frame, and I'll just aim for these targets, right? And if you ask me where do you take your profit on the buy side, I would be conservative in this case, right? And I'd start be taking profits at 31, 34, and 36, right? Those would be the three profit targets. And after that, it's important to see where is RSI by that point, how's the price reacting, because possible is that we get another sell-off to tap this low and this liquidity down there, right? So that's important to look into as well, and keep in mind that it's not a guarantee that the price will continue going up. There has to be a reason for the price to move that way. And again, it's not going to do that right away, but it will most probably do it in a series of moves, right? It's going to be series of waves to the upside like that, right? That will give you a confirmation that's the case, right? Or at least something like this, you see? Not in a straight line, always up and down. So hopefully that makes sense. 4320 demand zone, Eric is saying. Yeah, by all means. 4320 is where this wick is, right? So it is a zone from where price could spike to the upside in the case that some institutions want to grab the liquidity from there, right? If they feel like there was a lot of liquidity. Keep in mind that during New York, right? This is the New York low, right? So we went up, we went down, chopped around during New York, and this was the low, right? So it is possible that we will tap the 20 and then go up. Highly likely that can be. But now there is one question is what is preventing price from going here and then just continuing to chop lower all the way down, right? So could be a good buy, right? But there has to be just other things that need to align for you in order for this buy to be valid. Whatever these confirmations are for you, use those. Doesn't have to be exactly the same confirmations I use, right? As long as there are multiple confirmations, even this fib from the bottom to the top. Ah, Where's my, oh, it's the other way around. Okay, so from the bottom to the top, right? 61, yeah, there was quite a lot of zones right here, right? 61 is way lower, 71, 78. So again, the point of fibs is that they are pretty subjective. Somebody would pull it from the bottom of this wick, somebody would pull it from the bottom of that wick, right? And based on that, make their decisions. There is no right or wrong way per se, as long as it aligns with your zones and areas of interest, that will help you guys long term anyways, right? But yeah, by all means, the 40, sorry, 4320 and 4321-ish is an important area of interest. I'll add to my trade just because why not? And see where it takes us. Like to stack those trades. And I'll exit if we break the lows. So my stop loss is going to be pretty tight, right? If anything, I rather re-enter from lower here and take one more setup, right? Then just carry my loss all the way down. Doesn't matter, really. I like to keep my losses small, personally, in terms of pips. My usual stops on gold are roughly 20 to 30 pips, right? That's my standard trading style. So somewhere between 25 to 30 pips is within my comfort level for the stops. Hence why I'll be fine if we break this lower. I'll just stop out the trades and see if there is an opportunity to re-enter at a later time. right? For the buy opportunities once again, because from here, let's try and build a case for sell. Can we? Try and build a case for a sell. Cases for sell here, okay? Cases for sell would be that the market trend has been bearish for the past 1 hour, right? And the fact that we're creating lower highs and lower lows, and for now we're just consolidating. So what you would want is for you to get an optimal entry into a sell trade. Again, I can't unsee what I see, right? I see this high and this low right here. That's it, right? I wouldn't be able to pull a fib, say from here or from there, because at this time, at this point, it's just guesswork, right? Which high is the right high? Is it this one or that one or that one? That's why I'm taking it on the 3-minute time frame roughly, where you can clearly see these highs move down, then up, and then continuation, right? But all these small mini lows and mini highs, they're just choppy, right? In order for me to pull a fib from there. So I wouldn't necessarily be building the short case too much, which yeah, you can just say, hey, it's going down, I sell. That's it, right? Simple. Just make life simple. It's going down, I sell, stop above the previous high. That's it. Easy as that, right? No need to overcomplicate things, but that's one way to look at it also. Right? Simple. Goes down, I sell. That's an option too. Let me know if you guys have any questions, any concerns, anything you want to know by one more time, and I will plan my exits accordingly. So again, it's gonna be based on fib. It's gonna be, so my buy is roughly at 26 and stop out is roughly at 23. Put that on, right? 43, 26, 43, 23. And then our TPs are gonna be, I actually put the number to it, prices. 43.31, 43.33, and 43.36-ish. Those are our targets. My extended targets is daily open, etc. But we're just gonna try and keep it simple. It's a nice 3-to-1 risk to reward per se. Okay, if there are no questions, bear with me a second. Just grab some water. I'll be right back. 1 second, guys. Okay, right back with you. And we'll just place the take profits according to what we have. Okay. So TP 1 around 31. Stop loss at 23-ish. TP2 around 33. And that's what we mean when we say stack those entries and gradually exit as well, right? And then TP3 around 36-ish. Is it 36? Yeah, roughly 36. Stop loss down there below the lows. And the last one will be around daily open, so around 38. Same stop loss. Right, that's it, right? So trade fully managed, can step out, go watch a movie, whatever happens, happens at this stage. Again, risk is decently managed, entries are stacked, right? As we go up, price will be exiting, sorry, the system will be exiting the long positions. And if we go lower and get that area, that's fine. We'll see if there is an opportunity to re-enter down at 17, right? That is the trade idea, right? So I wouldn't necessarily be entering from here, but next area I would be looking into for buys would be around 17-ish, just to see if we kind of break through this low liquidity grab, right? And then chop higher. Pretty slow, if you ask me, though, for gold, as you guys can see, right? I like to show you that opportunities are limited throughout the trading session as well, as we discussed. This is it, right? So maybe one sell, but considering we spent some time talking about the markets, right, we didn't take that, so that's fine, right? Again, you have to be pretty spot on the charts to catch these type of moves in all directions. But right now, in say the last 20 to 30 minutes, price was just chopping, nothing happening, right? So the range of the price action here is 20 to 30 pips. That's your stop loss range, right? So hence why I'm saying have to be careful, and identifying setups is one thing, but being patient for them to play out is another story, right? Again, moving up nicely. Let me know in the chat. We have how many people? 38 people in the on the stream tonight. How many of you guys took the buy setup? How many of you guys are in profit right now? I'm nicely in profit, probably like 30 pips. Some of the trades. Let me know if some of you guys took the positions. Many of our fellow traders are taking advantage of this breakdown in monetary perspective. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you go. That's very good. Hey, Ken Roy is making $200 of profits. Amazing job, Ken Roy. That's good. Hey, Curbs, I see Curbs is here. Curbs, man, come on. Are you banking it or not? I see Curbs in the chat.
Yes, sir.
There you go, my guy. Longs are playing out or no?
I was having a little bit of trouble with the TP and the SL earlier because they had the new update.
I know, I know. Hey, make a story, yeah? Tag me on the story on Instagram for the long trade. It's good stuff. No, but you see, guys, it's a nice reaction though, right? Sometimes it's boring while it's playing out, but when it moves up very nicely. So one thing I want to mention, right? As it moves to our TP1, which is very close to TP1 already, right? This 31 level right here, and TP2, TP3 are higher up, please, right? You don't want to be in a situation where price just comes back down, stops you out, or actually, even worse, goes to your stop loss, right? That's the last thing you want. A trade that was decently in profit ending up in a loss, right? So one thing, please, once it reaches TP1, which is doing right now, move your stop losses to break even, right? You will secure at least 30% of your profits anyways, right? 30% of the move is secured, and that is where trade management comes through, right? So important to note that managing your trade is better than doing nothing in that particular case, right? So boom, look, one TP secured. There we go, right? And the rest trades are running nicely in profit. Let's just check. 250, 200, 150. So we have nice $600-ish in profit. and then we've closed $142 in profit already, right? We had some losses here and there, but again, account is nicely 10K in profit so far also. So nothing to complain about. Yes, ODS TP1 hit, and there you were waiting for 17, eh? Told you. But again, it could still get there, right? Nothing to say that will just fly up. It could potentially just consolidate, reverse, get to 17, and then continue higher. But this was indeed an important zone and a nice, interesting zone to take the longs from. I hope we learned something from that, right? And again, happy days. The trade setup played out perfectly. We only had one for the night, and it played out, right? What's important is that we had our t stop loss pretty wide, and we were adding to the positions as the trade was playing around, right? As it was playing out, we were just adding, 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 right? As long as the confluence is held. So good stuff for now. Hope you guys were enjoying the information and the thought process as well. Sometimes it's boring, sometimes it's repetitive, but that's what we say. Trading should be boring and repetitive sometimes, unless you're trading the news, right? So happy days. I will let the trade play out and I will update you guys as it happens. But for now, looking good. If you guys haven't moved it to break even, at least move the stop loss so that if it goes below the lows, you're out. That would invalidate the long setup from this area specifically, for sure, right? But again, I think an amazing entry along with the amazing analysis and the reasoning behind it, right? Showing you guys that one trade in one trading session is more than enough, right? 600, 700 banked, take it, go have rest, enjoy the rest of the day, right? At the end of the day, the salary in Canada or anywhere else here in the world is not $700 per day unless you're a trader. So we're paying salary ourselves. But I think unless there are any other questions, I'll wrap it up there. Um, please, if you can have W's in the chat for your coach DB, that would be much appreciated. Keeps me going. I feast on my W's. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for sticking with me throughout the session. Thank you for your patience and your continued interest. Again, trading is a marathon, not a sprint. You learn something every day. And don't forget, as I like to say, spend some time with your loved ones, with your families, friends, whoever that is for you. And happy trading. Don't stay up too late. Tomorrow is a new day. Have to be fresh enough for the new opportunities on Thursday. And again, manage your capital, manage your risk. I appreciate everyone who's been here. Oh, Hayan's been here as well. Hayan, hope you learned something today as well, my friend. But it's good to have you there with us today as well. I see some people who are my students, so that's good to see you guys attend. But again, that is it from me for the night. Simple yet effective. Hopefully didn't overcomplicate it for anyone. But on that note, I want to say thank you, everyone, for joining and stay healthy, stay hungry, stay with PrimeVerse, and we will see you guys on our next live trading session, which is tomorrow, New York time. And we will also see you guys next week, Monday, for your training session with Coach DB. Cheers.